Hi Shambhavi, thank you for joining us today. And many congratulations on securing All India Rank 6 in IIT Kharagpur LLM Entrance Test. Welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
So Shambhavi, please start by introducing yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about your educational background.
I am Shambhavi. I did my undergraduation from Panasli Vidyapeeth. It is in Rajasthan. I did my BA LLB there. And after BA LLB, later years, mainly during the COVID itself, I realized that I want to pursue LLM, and that too from India itself. So I started preparing little by little, researching that how to do it, and then I realized that I did not study in my college days, so I do need some guidance, and that's why I came across Jurisedge. One of my friend also suggested me for Jurisedge, so that's how I joined Jurisedge and started preparing for LLM, and I applied for various other entrants and got news from IIT K, so it's IIT K now.
Right. So that's interesting. But can you please help our viewers understand a little bit about the syllabus and pattern of IIT Kharagpur? Because I think there's a lot of information regarding CLAT and IELTS, but not enough information about other good colleges such as IIT Kharagpur, which offers a great course in intellectual property rights. So can you please help us understand the pattern of the exam and the kind of subjects that are tested in it?
Yes, ma'am. Right. So, ma'am, when we go to the IITK website, the website does not say much. It just says that all the Bar Council affiliated subjects will be tested. But, and that's quite right, ma'am, because when I came across the paper, it was a fair amount of everything. Every subject was included. And before paper, IITK does release a sample paper. So when I saw the sample paper, I could not solve like more than 2-3 questions. The sample paper I think, was much more difficult as compared to the paper, because the sample paper has questions on labor law and even the intellectual property rights. So, and the questions which were on in the sample paper were much more on a conceptual statement, which was much more on basics. So the paper has fair amount of constitution. It has a little bit about on criminal, company law, intellectual property rights, environmental law, even the family law was asked, and little bit about labor, 1-2 questions on labor law also. So, ma'am, it has a good mixture of everything.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I think, the website also clearly says that, all Bar Council subjects will be asked. So there is no definitive syllabus, but of course, since it does provide specialization in IPR, so they will definitely test, that side of the subjects. So also, can you please help us understand the 2 steps in the process? So there's a CBT, that is a computer-based test, and then there is an interview. So can you please help us understand a little bit about the interview for IIT Kharagpur?
Yes, ma'am. So interview is like when I when I see the list and realize that, okay, my name is there in the list. So a few of my friends from college and other people I know also got selected for interviews. So my interview lasted from 2nd of May to 6th of May. So during this period, interview lasted. My interview was on 6th. So I was quite lucky in this case that I could talk to other people, that how the interviewers are asking the questions. So everybody just said that prepare yourself, nothing, they are not serious. Like, not serious in terms of like they are not testing your education, like how much you know. They're just testing your personality and if you're able to face it or not. So the first question in the interview, they asked me to introduce myself. So in the introduce myself, I told them about, like, again, my educational background and what are my interests. And in my interest, I tell them that it was the constitutional law which I find interesting. And other than that, I told them about this that I did my internship from what all background. So on such questions, on such answers only, they asked me questions like if I told them that during my last year I did my internship from a specific organization. Then they were asking me what all did I do. So for interview, you just have to prepare yourself that if you are telling them something that I have a knowledge on this thing, you must have a knowledge on that. You can't bluff. So for interview, and other than that, I did not have the knowledge of IPR, and I did not study that well IPR in my college days. So I was honest about it that I did not focused on IPR in my college days, and later on I developed my interest in this subject. And they were quite cool about it, like, okay. And then they also asked me that this is a 2-year program, why you want to push this. This was only my answer, that because I did not pay attention to IPR in my college days, it is a good opportunity for me to be here and enrich this course. So for interview, you have to be honest, and again, know what you're saying, because on that basis only they are going to ask the questions.
Right. So even on the website, if you go, I think they have given a division of what all areas they're going to ask in the interview. So yes. Are there any questions on law or legal aptitude to you particularly?
There was one question on IPR they did ask me, and the question was, suppose you publish an article on Research Gateway. There is a website like Research Gateway, and on that basis, and you have not registered your article, and if somebody copies it, will that be a breach? So I have a fair knowledge about IPR, and we have, like, in the Jurisedge itself, we have studied IPR also. So I did tell them that there is an exception that for study purposes and all that, you can publish the article. So they were satisfied with my answer. Nothing major. They did ask me about the recent question, as the reservation was so much in the news that time. My interview happened in May. So they did ask me about what is my take on the reservation. And again, we covered reservation in such a great extent that I was on and on going about the reservation that they asked me to stop. So yes, nothing major legal aptitude question which I could not answer, but general questions like why I want to come here, and who told me that IIT Kharagpur is such a great institute. So you have to be a little bit quirky also, that, oh, I don't refer to third party. It is the alumni and seniors who helped me to come around this college and course. So that way. And then they also asked me that what I want to pursue, as they provide number of subjects. It is IPR, criminal, and constitution, and other few subjects also they provide. So they did ask me about that also.
Right. So basically, interview was a mix of your test of personality, your communication skills, and your general understanding of whatever is going on recently in the legal field, right? Okay, so that seems fair. So,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Not many people, of course, know about the scope of the syllabus and basically how to prepare for it, because you have been preparing for CLAT and IELTS for, I think, over a year, or at least a year. So you were very comfortable with those subjects. But if somebody is just planning on writing this exam, what do you think should be their strategy? Like, what are the subjects that they should be focusing on for, clearing at least the first part, that is the CBT?
Okay, ma'am, right. So, ma'am, I think it is the basics which prevails in all entrance exam and even in the IIT Kharagpur. When I come across the paper, nothing too recent was asked. And nothing too they are not testing your memory skill. Like, even if there was a question on parliamentary privilege, in the legal principle, they did tell me that 105 of Constitution talks about parliamentary privileges. So they are not testing your memory skill, like, okay, what is the article number, or what is the committee name, or the bench of the judgment, like this. So the whole idea is, if somebody focuses on basics and get a very good base in it, like conceptually clear, then IIT Kharagpur will not be a problem for them. Sometimes memory does play a role in CLAT and other exams, but for IIT Kharagpur, good idea of basics and concepts. And now the subjects. So constitution, ma'am, it is like like there were a lot of questions on constitution, and as IIT Kharagpur mainly focuses on IPR, so there were a lot of questions on IPR as well as company law. Now on company law, nothing like too major, but basic, like you must know what is amalgamation, what is absorption, the difference between two, what is merging. And then environmental law, basic environment law, like what is Earth Summit, or there was now I would like there were total 120 questions, so I will not say that whole 120 questions were on concept based, but around 110 questions were on concept based. So like Earth Summit is a memory based question, so you must know that it is Rio. So you can skip 10 questions, I would say that, but if one focuses on making concept on tort, constitution, criminal law wise, only IPC was asked majorly, nothing too much from evidence or CRPC. There was one question on CPC as well. And only one question, so one can skip CPC. Then there was a contract was contract examples were asked. And yes, ma'am, like the basic subjects like constitution, tort, contract, a little bit environmental law, IPC.
Right,
yes, ma'am,
right.
That's it.
Okay, so basically, more or less all the subjects that are tested in CLAT, okay, so was there any question on, let's say, public international law or jurisprudence, which are very frequently asked in CLAT examination?
Ma'am, I can't say anything too deep from jurisprudence. I can't remember if there was any question on jurisprudence, but there was a question on PIL, and it was on United Nations, ma'am. United Nations, they did ask about ICJ, how many years does the judges last, and number of judges. So there was from United Nations. So when like we studied PIL again in such a depth, ma'am. So basics only, like United Nations, one must know. So such questions. And jurisprudence, no, ma'am, not really from jurisprudence, nothing to be.
Okay, all right. So basically, if one is familiar with the legal subjects, not necessarily procedural law, you would say that, they will be able to clear IIT Kharagpur LLM Entrance, right? Right. But I think this also comes from a place that you have already been studying around 15, 16 subjects for CLAT, and probably this is why you found IIT Kharagpur to be slightly on the easier side, right?
Right.
Right. Okay, so would you have any tips for interview preparation? Because many candidates who have just cleared LLB, they don't really have much, practice, or they're not really familiar with how interviews work. So how did you prepare for the interview, and what was your take on
that? So ma'am, I got guidance from Jurisedge. So that was my first tip, that talk to somebody who has either given some interviews or know what you're going to face. So firstly, take guidance. Secondly, don't bluff. Don't lie, because they are there, they know that you know what can be known by you and what cannot be, and it is okay to not know a few things, because it is not a job interview and you are only going there to study. So I was quite honest that I do not know IPR much, and as I was quite confident about concept, they did ask me that, then why are you not pursuing constitution? And I did tell them that because I'm not interested. Because IIT Kharagpur also provide for masters in constitution. So I told them that I was not interested, and that is why I'm sitting here and facing interview for IPR. So first is like take guidance. The other one is don't bluff, and third is like prepare a little bit. Like for every interview, the person is going to ask you to introduce yourself. So prepare a script. And even if you're a little bit too over prepared, there's no harm in it. So I did prepare my script, that what I am going to say. So and even like, and your introduce yourself should not be too long. Like it should not be more than a minute. Take for prepare a script of 40 seconds. So in my introduce myself, I included like my educational background, what internship I took, and on the basis of internship I did, they only asked me question that okay, you did this internship as a researcher there. So what did you learn? So then there also I should be prepared that what am I going to say, even if somebody has not done a lot in their undergraduation year, just tell them about your interest. Like if you are interested in particular field, then they are going to ask questions on that. If you have some articles, some research work, include that, but you must have knowledge about it when you are saying it. And other than that, be a little bit confident and be humble.
Right.
So that's my take on.
Right. I think these tips apply for any interview. If you are taking any interview, you must really be honest about yourself and your interest. Right. So did they also ask for a CV beforehand, or did they have a form in which you had to fill out your details, or was it just entirely oral?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Nothing. And before interview, I did prepare for IPR and little bit about constitution. So because they can ask you questions, it is like there's no straight jacket formula, so they can ask you questions. So I did prepare little bit well for my interview. I did go through IPR, and there was a possible, as a patent waiver issue is going so much, like all this COVID vaccine thing. So I did prepare a little bit because they can ask you questions. Like they did throw me a questions on IPR. So they did throw me a question on recent happening with respect to reservation. Now I had knowledge of it because I was preparing. But if somebody who guidance on their end, they should be aware of the recent happenings, what is happening around the world, and anything related to IPR. So yes, ma'am, that.
Right. Basically, so just like an all-round knowledge of whatever is going on recently, and of course, the course that you are intending to pursue, you should have at least some basic knowledge regarding that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that sounds fair. All right. So, how would you say the Jurisedge course has helped you crack IIT Kharagpur?
Ma'am, it is quite right because as I mentioned, I did not study in my college days, so I needed a base. And I needed a base which can help me to clear what I missed in my college days. So as we were preparing, like the whole idea of this course is to prepare you for basics, like prepare you for anything, whatever comes, anything. The course is not designated to only prepare you for IITK. It is for all entrance exams. So it anyway, like we were preparing in such a detailed manner for CLAT and IELTS, and even for we aim for PSUs as well. So as we have such a great take on basics, so basics helped me. And other than that, ma'am, I did solve all the mocks provided by Jurisedge before my IITK exam, and my good luck was that around from three questions I got from the mock, I got like lucky, and three questions of mock came in IITK exam. So that I solved all the mocks, and even for IPR and company law, other small subjects in which I did not have a lot confident, I covered it from the notes itself, like all the notes. And we did study company law, IPR, all these subjects in such a great depth. So it was quite helpful, ma'am. I couldn't have cracked it without Jurisedge.
That's great to hear. Okay, so Shambhavi, what are your future plans? What do you intend to do after finishing your LLM from IIT Kharagpur?
Ma'am, I am interested in academics only. So like for after LLM, I might apply for PhD. But yes, ma'am, like going into academics and researching, that's the plan, ma'am. Writing UGC net, so like proper into academics.
Right. I'm sure IIT Kharagpur will be a great place for you to learn because they have amazing faculty and you will have access to great alumni networks as well. Right. So thank you, Shambhavi. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights about this very important examination. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.